Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Sunday edition. Always at 9:06 p.m. Eastern. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios inside the bunker in an undisclosed location in beautiful New Jersey. From the highest point, cross-continent, to the Michael J. Fox Studios in Beverly Hills, California. We got Short Sky and Scotty as we're waiting for somebody, one of our crew members. He'll be here shortly. Yeah.
Yeah, my apologies on the 9:06 start. I was still waking up from that game that I was at today.
Why are you apologizing? It's actually Ann Cruz's fault.
No, I was just trying to make a joke about the game being boring today.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was no joke. That was no joke.
You just Billy Dean the podcast already.
Yeah. The only thing great about today was the bacon at American Whiskey for breakfast. Something about that bacon. There's this one place.
It is good bacon.
There is this one place in Australia that has great bacon, and I'm going to have to tell Mrs. Wu because I think I found the other place. It's American Whiskey, believe it or not.
Just wait till you get to Ireland and have bacon over there. That's a whole other world, man.
Really?
Irish bacon is something else. Oh, it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to have to tell the wife that. We're going to have to go to Ireland now to get some good bacon.
There you go.
Because we have nothing to talk about this team that keeps on losing. It's not looking like a playoff team. We're trying to spin it in a positive way, but honestly, they looked a little lethargic, a little disinterested. Not themselves. They're not giving 120%. But can you blame them? These games are kind of, you can't move the needle with these games. It's already set.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm looking at.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at Ted saying not good enough, but not for nothing. I'd rather this team go kind of a little bit slower and not get injured going into the playoffs. Who cares about these games? I know it's nice to win going into the playoffs, but you don't need to win right now. It's not going to move the needle. You just don't want to get hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
I see it that way as well. I rather see them. I mean, look, there were a couple positives here, killing off the 5-minute penalty. I think that's huge.
Yeah, that was huge.
Again, it's just a matter of getting back to basics and fundamentals. But yeah, we don't want we want to injure but not be injured, and that's what Paul Cotter did today by accident, I guess. I don't know, but Ted is saying that that Paul Cotter hit did not look good. It didn't look good, but at the same time, what are you going to do about it? I mean, in that situation, I mean, when you put it in slow motion, anytime you do replay and it's in slow motion, it's almost like it's an optical illusion. Coulda, shoulda, woulda,
Woulda, shoulda, coulda, can't?
Yeah, that too.
That too, huh?
And didn't.
Like didn't score?
Didn't score. Didn't let a shorthanded goal. But
how was the crowd tonight? Today.
Subdued would be the best way to put it. Very subdued. There weren't very many Islander fans. Usually there are a lot more, but their team has nothing to play for. It was kind of funny watching this Islander team play well and win a close game 1-0 after being eliminated. Now they start to play like it's got to infuriate Islander fans, and I'm okay with that. It's just it was blah. It was just blah today. It's like, all right, we're in the playoffs. Let's start the playoffs already. Nothing's going to change. These games are useless. I'm not worried.
I'm a little concerned. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, how come?
Because they just lost 3 in a row to non-playoff teams, and they looked horrible doing it. And nobody wants to go into the playoffs on potentially a 5-game losing streak. That's not good. And we said it on Devils After Dark earlier today. Which team is going to show up? The team from the first half of the season who played against Minnesota and the Rangers recently, or the team from the second half of the season who played these last 3 games? I can see if these last 3 games were an anomaly, but they're not. Like, this is how the team has been playing, and it kind of stinks.
Yeah, I mean, it's. But looking at today's game, they were big on the penalty kill, which is big. I know the Islanders are not a real tough opponent, but to kill a 5-minute penalty at any point is something positive. And to only allow 1 goal against, granted, I would have loved to have seen the Devils score because it would have been great to be there for it. But the Islanders really packed that center. So it is a negative that, the team is losing. Like, it's not like the loss against the Bruins the other night on Tuesday. That was pretty terrible.
I
mean, the team
they got shut out again, so
they
it
did,
is a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, looking at it in person, they didn't look like they were. They almost looked like they were going maybe 75%. And I'm really not sure that it's altogether possible that they're just being told, like, listen, get through these last 3 games, don't get hurt, because you've got the Bruins, you've got the Islanders who are both out. You've got players that are probably more than willing to do something just to kind of screw with the other teams that they're playing. That are in the playoffs. You've got players on both the Islanders and the Bruins that may be trying to play their way into a new contract or play their way off that team come free agency. So the incentive to win and the incentive to play well, I think, is more so on the Bruins and the Islanders side in the last 2 games specifically. And Brooke just said it in the chat. Why overdo it when everything's locked in? Like, you're just kind of going through the motions at this point. These are just like extra scrimmage games. You try things, and I would, if they're being told to hang back and just get to the playoffs, it's no big, like, and our friend Chico Resch, who real good friend of the podcast, will say, yeah, these guys want to win, and they hate to lose. They're not losing on purpose, but at the same time, it's like you don't want to find yourself in a situation like the Panthers or the Senators are in, where they've lost pretty important pieces to injury. You don't want to do that going into the playoffs.
I mean, I think that's fine, but I'd still like to win some games and not, play like we have been playing. I mean, yeah, I mean, to me, this isn't a good look. And this isn't a team that's been able to just turn it off and turn it on whenever they feel like it. So I don't know. And this whole second half of the season has been a massive struggle. And right when we see them, oh, okay, hey, they won 3 games in a row. Hey, we're doing a little bit better. Now all of a sudden they just revert back to the way they were playing, and they lost to 3 teams that have been eliminated. 3 teams that have absolutely nothing to play for. And they got shut out twice doing it. So for me, I'm definitely a bit concerned. I mean, this wasn't like, hey, we're resting half of our staff, half of our team here, like, oh, I don't know. I just very, very fearful playing against a Rod Brindamore coach team who doesn't look like they have, they look like they're trying to right their ship and play hard and hustle and do everything. Does it mean anything, really? No, but I mean, when it comes down to it, we might be the lowest point total team in the Eastern Conference because Montreal has a very good chance to pass us. now. They're only 1 point behind. So it's losing your way into the playoffs. Think about it. We had a chance to clinch, and we had other teams do it for us. We still haven't won since our turn to like, hey, let's go clinch this. The Devils have not put out a solid effort, and they've lost every game.
They have, and the Boston game, I'm in complete agreement. That was just a crap performance. The loss against Pittsburgh, we were up 2-0 early. We tied 2-2, but that, and I'm sure you guys talked about it on After Dark on Friday, but that goal that Crosby scored, the third one, the game winner, I thought that was a fantastic slap pass to someone that was, that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was a power play goal for Pittsburgh, correct?
Yep.
I'm almost positive. That was a great power play. That was a great power play look on their end with 6 minutes left, and we weren't able to respond, which kind of sucks. Today, it just looked like it seriously almost looked like their assignment was just don't get hurt. Just don't get hurt. And as much as, I would like to win, and we're in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. We're in the tournament. And Montreal could get more points than us. And honestly, I honestly don't care if Montreal gets more points than us because we're in the playoffs. They cannot push us out. We're not going to get we don't have anyone coming up behind us from our division. So that's a lock. Like maybe this is the result of the playoff situation where we have no one nipping at our heels, where it's not a straight 1 through 8, and we would have to worry about that. So maybe it's this playoff system, this one, top 3 in each division, and then the wild card, to where if the 2 wild card teams are in the other division or out of your division, what's your incentive to play well, to play hard? You really have none. If this was a straight 1 through 8, then yeah, you'd probably have somebody nip if Montreal's nipping out our heels in a straight 1 through 8. Okay, then you got to play all the way to game 82. So it could be a result of the playoff structure.
But wouldn't you want to go into the playoffs on a hot streak?
I'd want to go into the playoffs without any new injuries. That would be my hope. No new injuries, because we lost Siegenthaler, we lost Hamilton, who looked pretty good and in pretty good spirits in warmups, but then was scratched from today's game. We're losing him, Siegenthaler, losing Jack. Like we've had some injuries to important key players, and the last thing that anyone wants is someone like a Nico or a Timo or a Luke to get injured over these last meaningless games. I'd be more aggravated if someone like that got hurt over the course of the last couple games than going into the playoffs losing.
I mean, that's fair enough. I see things just a little bit differently. I would much rather prefer them go in playing hard and hustling and showing why they are a playoff caliber team and not the under 500 team that they have been in the second half of the season. Because for me, the way they're playing, they're not playing at a playoff caliber level. They've just been so inconsistent throughout this entire season. They have yet to win, we all know, 4 games in a row. And yeah, it's just these efforts don't look good. And let's not forget the Islanders hit like 4 posts today as well.
Yes, they did.
This game could have easily been another 4-0 shellacking.
Yeah,
which would have been so defeating. And not only that, give the fans at least something to cheer for. These our fan base is going in like, I don't know. I am very, very worried playing this Carolina team. I
get it.
I don't like the way it looks.
I get it. I completely understand where you're coming from with it, but at the same time, it's like if we were to go off and win 4 in a row now, like it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. We have to win 4 in a row starting whatever the first game is going to be, Sunday night, Saturday night, whatever it is. Those are the games that actually mean something. I would rather just get there injury free, and that's when you start. That's really when you start doing the real work. Now that could happen. That could happen starting on Wednesday. With that being the last game going into this, we have another back-to-back, which I'm sure they're not thrilled about. You have a back-to-back between going up to Boston, and then coming here against Detroit. Who Detroit is out of it as well. So
They're all out of it.
They're all out of it. And so Montreal, we have 89 points, but like you said, Montreal's right there at 88. It would take. So we got 2 games. Okay, so yeah, Columbus can't even catch us. I'm doing the math. Well, we need 1 more point for Columbus not to catch us. So I kind of stand corrected in what I was saying. Columbus can tie us, but I want to say, and I don't have it open in front of me, but I want to say we would have. I'm pretty sure we would have the tiebreaker over Columbus, but that Columbus would be the only one.
No, they can only get into the wild card, Columbus. So yeah, we're locked in. That's the thing.
If we lose out though, well, yeah, we're locked in. Yeah, so they would have to get in through. They can tie us. That's the most that they can do in points.
They can tie us, but they wouldn't be able to. Yeah, we would have the tiebreaker there. So, because we have more regulation wins than they can. They can only get to 40, and we have 41. So that's the only thing is they can tie, and they can potentially overtake the Canadians. If the Canadians lose these 2 and Columbus wins these 2, then they'll do a little flip flop there at the bottom of the pile. But I don't know. For me, it doesn't look good. And if you're going to lose 5 games in a row to non-playoff teams, and you can say they're only playing 75% or 60% or whatever, but I don't know. That just doesn't cut it for me. I'd rather see this team firing on all cylinders rather than getting repeatedly shut out and not doing anything going into the playoffs. That's just me. I'd rather be going in on a high than the low that we are on right now.
So here is the Hurricanes. Looking at what Carolina has done since the beginning of April. April 2nd, they beat Washington 5-1. And then April 4th, 5th, 8th, and 10th, they lost to Detroit, Boston, Buffalo, and Washington. They beat the Rangers. They lost to Toronto today. So it's not like the Hurricanes are doing anything different than we are right now. And they've got Montreal, who I think they're kind of screwed with Montreal coming up this Wednesday because Montreal is really fighting. Like Boston's out. Like Boston. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter what we got going on here. So it's not like Carolina has gone through all the last month and haven't lost. So they're about the same as we are. I mean, we've both beaten the Rangers. That's basically what we've done, which I feel like everyone is beating the Rangers except the Islanders, who we lost to today. And then even Washington. Washington, since the beginning of April, they lost to Carolina. They lost to the Islanders. They lost to Columbus twice. So Washington's not really doing much different than we are. It seems like the other 2 teams above us in the Metro, they've gotten in and they're just kind of coasting to the playoffs.
I could see that, but I feel like Washington has been firing on all cylinders all season, and with a veteran staff that they have there, a veteran team, that it doesn't really. I feel they have the more better equipped to turn it on and turn it off. Same thing I feel like with Carolina. The Devils they've done this all year long though. We haven't had that streak that really showed like, hey, this team is a team not to be messed with. And don't forget, Carolina is the best damn team in the league at home. They are 31-9-1 at home.
Mm-hmm. And we're the road team. But I just got to point this out. Washington lost to Columbus. Washington lost to Columbus by a combined score over 48 hours of 11-1. We're not losing like that. I mean, except for that freaking not Buffalo, the Boston game. I don't know. I'm still not.
I was at that game.
Yeah. Well, so it's your fault. It's all
Probably.
your fault.
Probably is. Sorry for the technical issues, my friends. Technical.
We all have them.
But boy, am I glad to be back.
Oh man!
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. Scotty's worried. I'm not. Beer Baron, your thoughts?
My thoughts are: who gives a damn? All right, throw caution to the wind, take it out, piss against it, and see what happens. I mean, who cares? You made it to the show. Anything can happen in the show. You know, that's all you got to do is you got to make it to the dance. If you make it to the dance, you might be, dancing with the prettiest girl in the room. You never know at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And the point is, yeah, you can be worried because nobody wants to go into the playoffs limping in and looking like a bunch of lame ducks. Nobody wants to go in with this like, we could lose a few to teams that suck balls and who cares? Like, yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody needs that. It's a different team and they have a different makeup. Without Jack on this team, it changes the entire look of the power play. With Dougie coming back and possibly Siegenthaler coming back, who knows? It's also going to change a few things of how this team looks. But in the end of it, who cares? We made it. We could be sitting on our hands again watching the playoffs like we did the last couple of years or, last year at least. Instead,
like the Ranger
you look at it like this. Exactly. You look at it like this. You have a team that against some odds, because not all odds, because they had some odds. We'll say, all the injuries that they had this year are some odds because they still had enough talent that they should have been doing fine, which they did. And now they made it in against a team that's notoriously had their number in the playoffs. And you can look at it as like, woe is me, bummer, oh, gee whiz, oh, they're not going to make it past the first round, and oh, somebody come over and give me a lollipop. Or you could just be like, dude, F&A, we made it. We're here. You ever get into a party you're not supposed to be in? That's kind of what it's like right now. It's like the devil showed up and you're like, you got into the rich kid party when you're in high school, right? And you showed up and you're like, oh my God, you're elbowing your buddy right now. And you're going, dude, I don't know how we got here, but we're here. Look at us now. Look at us now. Yeah, here we are. So enjoy the party. Drink the punch. Go over there. High five a friend. Go say this is great. And if they get bounced in the first round, who cares? They get bounced in the first round. It's the first year of Sheldon Keefe. It's the first year of a lot of these pieces. There's a lot of growing pains that, yes, we want to see this team get deep into the playoffs and we want to see this team have success. But there has to be a first step of that success, right? There has to be that first level of like, all right, well, we got there. And even though we got there and whatever happened happens, we got there. We got there without Jack Hughes for almost a quarter of the season, maybe even half, right? Was he gone halfway? Do we miss him for almost half the season at that point? Or maybe just a quarter? So I see it from both sides, and I see your worry, and I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with what you're saying, and I was listening to the podcast the entire time while you guys were talking, and I don't disagree with how you're feeling about it. But at the same time, it's like you can't. I can't let myself worry about it. I just want to enjoy the ride. You're 100% right, but enjoy the ride. Who gives a crap?
I think you're thinking and what you're saying here, that's the way I think about 2 years ago. Yeah, I was just happy that we got there. And I was just going to enjoy the ride because it was the first playoff run for a while. Then we beat the Rangers and then we got smoked by Carolina. That's the just get there moment and let's see what happens. Last year, tons of injuries. Now you bring in a new coach. This shouldn't be let's just get there and see what happens. This should be, we got a plan to go into the playoffs. And it seemed like you just said, it seems like, should just be happy that we're here. No, this team shouldn't just be happy that they're there. They should be there every single year with this core. They should be a perennial playoff team. So I see what you're saying, but I disagree. I feel like that was 2 years ago. It was like, hey, we're finally back. We made it again. Yeah. All right. Let's just take this as it comes and see how it goes with this Ranger series. Let's hope we win and make a little noise and the boys can get some experience. And then, a couple years down the road, let's hope for a cup. So I think they should be past that stage. And no offense to Sheldon Keefe Richards, but he's had enough first-round playoff exits in his career already. You don't really need another one. He wasn't brought here. He wasn't brought here to be, We just got there. It's okay if we get bounced in the first round. He was brought here to right this ship and make the Devils into a deep playoff run contender. And I get it. No Jack Hughes and Dougie is hurt, but Dougie looks like he's going to come back. We'll see how he does come back, because missing a lot of time from injury, you're not just going to immediately just be right back into midseason mode there. But for me, what you were saying, that was like 2 years ago. They should be past that. They should be ready to go. And maybe that will be the case. And they can just turn it on, when the playoffs actually do start. But for right now, they haven't shown me anything this season that makes me believe that they can. They've shown me that they can be inconsistent and show some glimpses, just like that 3-game set we just got, the home and home Minnesota and then the Ranger game. It was like, all right, they fixed everything. Nope, we're going right back to the way it was since Christmas. So what team is going to show up? The first half team or the second half team? That's my question going on right here. Because Nico Heischer cannot do everything on his own. He's been carrying this team this entire year, Like he's got 35 goals, huge point totals. Jesper Bratt's been doing great, but I mean, he can't do it all. So I don't know. For me, I feel like what you were saying, I get it, but I feel like that should have been 2 years ago.
I don't know. I just think I'm meeting it with blind optimism in the sense that I can't personally put the spin on it of like, we're going to get swept out of the first round. I just can't put myself there because I mentally don't want to be there. Maybe I'm looking at it with this blind optimism or saying all the things that I'm saying because it's like, I don't disagree with what you're saying. They should be in the playoffs every year. This is the first year of this regime. And yes, this, like I said, there's a first step, right? And there has to be a first step. At least they got into the playoffs with all the things that happened. Like losing Siegenthaler was a huge hit.
2 years ago.
I understand.
That was 2 years ago.
It was a whole new regime, though.
Because this is not a new regime. This is the same core and everybody. It's just a different coach.
New coach, and there's one coach. New pivotal pieces to this team. This team had a lot, dude. This team had a lot to come over. The adversity that hit this team during the season. Like a lot of people don't understand. Like the Siegenthaler injury was a lot more devastating to the defensive core than people understand. Then you have Jack Hughes going down. That completely, yes, one man does not make this team. Jack Hughes is not this entire team, but his presence on the ice
every year.
Understood.
Yes, he does.
But if he was,
they should be used to it by now.
They should be. They should be. But it also alters the way that things work. I mean, it changes your power play units. It changes even your PK. It changes the way that the makeup of the team. You're taking a person who the other teams have to respect because he could damage you in many different ways. It's taking an element away from this team that makes them a little bit more dangerous. So there's a lot of things that happen to this team that in other years they would have folded. They would have just packed it up and they would have shipped it in halfway through the season, and we've seen it happen before. So yeah, am I happy that they made it into the playoffs? Hell yeah. Do I feel like this is going to be the start of them making the playoffs every year and getting back on track and getting this core into like a winning mentality? You're goddamn right. And I mean, if I have to meet it with a little bit of optimism, and if I don't want to look at it in a negative way, that's 2 years ago. It should have been, but it wasn't. It should have been, but it wasn't, because they still had a head coach that was not leading them in the direction that they needed to be led in. They still didn't have the goaltending pieces that they needed. What we saw 2 years ago is, that was a hell of a ride and it was a lot of fun. We beat the Rangers in that first round, but at the same time, that year it was like they were playing with fool's gold. Yes, you're 100% right. This is now the team that needs to be in the playoffs every single year. The core is there. The coaching staff is there. The goaltending is there. We finally got there, right? This is the first step, getting there. I'm not going to look at it and be like, oh, man, we're playing like crap and we're going to get smoked by the Canes in the first round. Maybe
I don't see this as the first step.
Naive.
I don't see it as I don't see this as the first step. This was, hey, we had our greatest season in the history of the team 2 years ago. We made it to the second round of the playoffs. We probably expended way too much energy in the Ranger series. Totally understandable. First time in there for a lot of these guys. Massive series, so much emotion. get it. Totally get it. Last year, just, bludgeoned with injuries. Get it. Coaching change. You bring in Sheldon Keefe. I feel like 2 years ago should have been step one. I feel like we're getting. This is something that I feel like is happening with this team, and I know others have said it too about the core, about the leadership, and everything like that. Like, why are we stuck on step one? We should be past step one by now. This core isn't, all 19 years old anymore.
No,
they've been
they're
in the
not.
league for like 6-7 years. So why are we still on step one? When we
Because
just
it was-
had, 2 years ago, the greatest season in the history of this franchise.
Because 2 years ago we also got fluky goaltending. You can't tell me that
But now you got even better goaltending though. So why are we back to step one? But we should be up at like step 2 or 3 by now.
Maybe it shouldn't be said as step one. Maybe it should just say a new step in the right direction.
Was it? This
Right?
is step 1B?
One, sure, whatever you want to call it. They got to start from somewhere. I mean, yeah, they had great success that year, 2 years ago, and a couple years before that, they had nothing. And yes, there's a slow process where they're building this team, and 2 years ago they had a nucleus of what you see now, and like a lot of that team is still reminiscent of now. They added some better pieces in Pesci and bringing back, some of the guys that are going to make this team. There's still some holes in this team that need to be addressed. I feel bad because I came on and now we've started this argument, but I mean,
I guess we're discussing. We're not arguing. We're just discussing.
It's a spirited discussion.
Yeah,
true.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just telling you my point of view, and you're telling me yours. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, no. I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I don't know. It's just, to me, I look at it differently than you do, I guess. And that's the end of it. It's like, I think that this is a new step in the direction of what this team is going to become. I don't look at 2 years ago and say that's a part of what we have now, because I feel like the makeup of this team is different enough from 2 years ago that it is a completely different setup. It is a different team. It is a different head coach. So to me, it's completely different. Like 2 years ago was 2 years ago. Like that's dead and gone. And I feel like what's going on now, like the experience they got from 2 years ago is great, and they can carry that over, but they have to do something different now. Like they have to figure out the identity of the team that is sitting in front of you. And yeah, going into the last couple of games where they're losing these games, like especially losing to the Islanders today, and like, dude, I was at that Bruins game, and let me tell you what, it sucked terribly. I could have used other words, but it was one of those games where they came out flat. They go down 3-0 really quick. A couple of the goals were like the first goal, the giveaway to Pastrnak. I'm like, and as soon as he got it on a stick, and I'm like, and that's a goal. And watching the team play, they were flat. They were unmotivated. Maybe that game shell shocked me into being like having this, not naive like optimism of like, hey, yeah, we made it. Let's go. Because I can't stand to like watch this team. Dude, the last thing I want to see is this team get absolutely laughed out of the playoffs. They make stupid mistakes like today, Timo Meier giving away the puck. Stuff happens. We get it.
Pass.
It was a horrible pass that led directly to a goal. It's like
like Daniel Jones out there.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
But so here's the thing with that.
Timo for Giants quarterback. Interception.
Start calling him Timo Cutlets.
Timo Cutlets.
It's the Devils we got lucky with Markstrom because the Islanders hit a bunch of posts. It was that goal resulted on a bad pass right in the zone by Timo Meier. The best part is that's a correctable mistake. That's not like a systemic mistake of this team being terrible. You take away that single mistake. The Devils couldn't score, but the Islanders were packing it in probably because they were afraid of what Patrick Waugh was going to do otherwise. Like this is if at it, you take today out of the two fan bases, I'm more upset if I'm an Islander fan because I'm looking at this game going, where the hell was this game with this play all season? It shows up the day after we're eliminated. I'm more worried and ticked off if I'm an Islanders fan because I know personally there have been times in my playing career where we've had a meaningless game going into the playoffs, and it was just let's just get through this game. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter we win. It doesn't matter we lose. So why expend all the effort that we need when this game means nothing? Like what's the point?
That's fair.
Which is a fair thought process.
Well, and one thing to consider,
don't get hurt.
One thing to consider here with that Timo play, that has been something that has plagued the Devils throughout this season. They had 23 giveaways today,
which is bad.
I can't even remember how many times. It was a lot, but there was a lot of times that they were in the 20s, in the high 20s with giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that's actually been a problem on this team all season long.
I hate to say it, I love the guy. I love the guy. Jack Hughes was a big problem with that. I love Jack, but he has got a little bit of problem handing over the puck, you know. But yeah, dude, I think the reality is this team is. It depends on what happens with Dougie, because that's an interesting wrinkle with we're going into the playoffs. If he's going to be, as all accounts, ready for the first series against the Canes, so that's going to be interesting if they inject them into the lineup right away, or if they just kind of play the first game as is. The thought process of that you were saying before, though, of like, you know, who gives a damn, like, just don't get hurt. I heard that from a few different people. Even Chico Resch said it on the broadcast today, because I was listening to the game for a point of it, and he's like, you know, it just, you get to a point where you like you're in, so you just want to kind of relax a little bit and not get yourself injured. And it's like, all right, or maybe it was Chico. I'm pretty sure it was Chico. But I get that, but at the same time, like, you don't want to go in so flat where you're like taking it too easy, where you then can't ramp it up. Like, that's the thing too, is like there's certain teams, and we've seen teams in the past that were like, we could take it off, you know, the whole season off, and then come playoffs, we just like, and it's a different level. I don't know if this team has that. I don't think I've seen this team before Jack's injury, you know, from Christmas break, have the ability to be like, dude, we just went down 2-0. All right, boys, shake that off. Let's go out and put a 4th spot up on them. Mm-hmm. So, especially this last, once they lost Jack, that's another thing too. Is like, that's the thing that makes me nervous about this team going into this, getting away from my blind optimism and getting into realism. It's like the 7 stages of grief right now, right? next will be anger. Next will be anger, and then give me some of the other ones. But
denial.
Yeah, they'll be fine. What are you talking about? They're fine. They're going to win the cup this year. You guys are stupid. How stupid could you be, Scotty? You moron! They're going to lift the cups. Sam said it like 5 years ago. You stupid idiot. And then there's acceptance. Well, boys, they got their ass kicked. What do you want from me?
Listen, I hope that they can turn it on, because I don't want to see this team just get bounced in the first round and get, you know, whooped like 4-1 in a series. So, I mean, you know, if it happens to go 7 games and they end up losing, you know, okay, whatever, you know, or even 6 games and they had a couple tight ones there that just, you know, the puck didn't bounce their way, I can live with that, you know. But if they go in there and they just get smoked by Carolina, no, I would not be happy with that situation.
No, if they get swept by Carolina and it's embarrassing, then yeah, that's not a good look on key for anybody.
Yeah, and that's that's one of those things. Like, I don't care if we win now. We have to win starting next week. And you've got, I want to say that right now the biggest veteran voice in that room is going to be Jacob Markstrom. He's in the twilight of his career right now. Maybe a little bit more than twilight. Like, not he's not at the end of his career, but we're coming close to the end. This is one of his last two chances to win the cup. That guy's going to want to get this team going and get these guys going so that they give everything for this first round going into it. And that's the thing. It's like these guys have also been there before. He's been there before. The core has been there before. So they also know like what these games mean versus what they don't. And we don't know what's going on in the locker room either. But you got to think going into the first round, once the playoffs start, it's one of the hardest grinds in all of professional sports. Mm-hmm. You're going to start that probably this Sunday, this Saturday, depending on what it is. And if you want to get if you want to get those 16 wins over the next 2 months, you are going to be looking for a day to take a break, and they don't come easy. I'd rather get a little bit of rest now, maybe go 75% now when it doesn't matter. And then you just knowing that what's going to start on Sunday is going to be one of the biggest things going forward for the next 2 months of your life, because these wins don't really matter. We could win today. It doesn't make a difference. We could win out this season and then go 0-4 in the first round and be out. I think I'd be more pissed off about that. Mm-hmm. To go into the playoffs hot and then just to be freaking cut off at the head right there in the first round and go out like that.
Desperation makes a team do crazy things. Sometimes that desperation can work in their favor. That feeling of like, you're going to be the underdog, and that could work in your favor. Hopefully he has the voice, and anybody that doubts Nico Hischier, I think Scotty nailed it on the head. The dude does everything. If he could put on pads and go into net, I think he would play goal.
And I'd be willing to bet that he's done that at least once in his life.
Probably. He's probably like, God damn it, you guys, I got it. Just give me the damn helmet. Man. Give me the pad. God, what a stupid glove. I got to wear this stupid glove now. And he gets in there and he's just like cussing the whole time, just making saves. Like doing a 2-pad stack. Like, you stupid idiots. I can't stand you guys.
Like I did last Saturday on the Prudential Center ice. Nice 2-pad stack there.
There you go. And I think kind of a blessing in disguise might be the fact that Carolina is a crazy record at home. Mm-hmm. It might be better that the Devils are starting away from the Prudential Center and not starting at home. That could work in their favor as well. You always look at it as like they need to win at least one. Split that series in Carolina, bring it back, 1-1 at a very minimum. And you have the goaltending in this situation. You have the goaltending that if you look at it on paper, we have the goaltending. If you look at it on paper defensively, I think I'd give it to them. I wonder if I would love. I was looking at the other day, and I wish I would have taken a screenshot of it. The comparisons, the side-by-side comparison stats of what these two teams are, because I would imagine that they're relatively similar in a lot of ways. Either way, there's a good chance that this team goes into Carolina, makes some noise, and as long as Scotty said, as long as you don't lay down and die. Yeah. As long as it's not like one of those games where you're like, what? Look at Sam with his new haircut. Look at this fancy looking son of a gun.
Thank you.
Little quaff in the front. I love it, bud.
The playoffs are coming.
Tell you what, I saw that haircut in person today. It's pretty sharp looking. And then he showed us who his barber is.
10 years younger.
Connie's Barbershop in P-Pack.
Yeah, that's who we got to credit with Sam's sharp new look.
Yeah, she actually promotes the Let's Go Devils podcast at her shop. There's a big logo.
That's awesome.
I would like to also promote this awesome Violent Gentleman's hat that I got for $24 at The Rock. I'm going to stick this all-black trucker. Wow. This is a Scotty hat, a very Scotty hat. Yeah, I should have bought you one.
I like that.
I screwed that up. I should have got. I was looking at it. I was like, if it's there, if I get a chance, I might be going to the game on Wednesday. If it's there, maybe I'll pick one up. And
If you see
Venmo
one, pick
me
me
or
up.
something.
I'll Venmo you. Yeah,
for sure.
that looks pretty sick. I like it.
Yeah, it's a very vintage Scotty type of look.
You want to go
I dig
over
it.
the predictions from earlier in October? It's very interesting.
Oh,
Okay.
sure.
Now, Shorts Guy, I don't think you participated in this one because I don't see your name
I
in
can't.
it.
I can't.
I don't even remember what I would have said.
Oh. It's the over and under, if you remember.
Okay.
So, the over and under of Jack Hughes getting 80 or more points.
Sam said under 100% by a smug look.
Heck yeah.
I can tell you before you don't even need to finish that answer. Jack Hughes and Sam under, whatever you said, under.
Because I said he was fragile, and I was right.
And you were right. We get it.
Scotty said over.
I was
Barron
wrong.
said over. Dougie Hamilton, 60 points. Beer Baron said under. He was right. Scotty said over. I said
I
under.
was wrong.
I don't want to jinx this one. Dawson Mercer playing every game. We all said yes.
Hey, I got one right.
Well,
Hey.
well, there's still 2 more games left.
All right,
Yep.
come on.
All right, fair
Knock,
enough.
knock, knock.
Jacob Markstrom, over and under 30 wins. Scotty said under. Beer Baron said over. I said under. Is what he's at, 26? Still stuck on 26 for the last, what, 2 months? Anyway.
2 right. Yeah.
Palat getting to 40 points. Beer Baron said under. Scotty said over. And I said under.
Talking
Not
about
even
blindly
close.
optimistic.
I also said 2025 will be our year.
Yes, you did.
So I got every single one right.
Well, you say it was our year, but what do you mean by our year? Does that mean like for like what does that mean? Stanley Cup or bust, or does that mean
I don't
like,
know. It's something I said
playoffs?
4 years ago. I think to be honest with you, I thought I said.
But you never specified what part of 2025. Just to see, that's called CYA, my friend.
Yeah, it's called. That's the deception there. It gives me a mulligan in case I'm wrong this season.
Well, yeah, and you know what?
What's the other one? My favorite, like K-Mag Yo-Yo. K-Mag Yo-Yo.
What is that?
Kiss my ass goodbye. You're on your own.
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna have to start using that. I'm gonna say it to
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
random people.
one of my favorite military, whatever those things are called.
I like that.
K-Mag Yo-Yo. Kiss my ass goodbye. You're
K-Mag.
on your own.
And
And by the way, interesting little note here about the Devils and Canes series this year. Home team won every single time. And the losing team, they were almost the same score every single game. 5-2, Canes win at home. 4-2, Devils win at home. 4-2, Devils win at home. 4-2, Canes win at home. So other than that one 5-2 game, which I'm sure was probably an empty netter at the end, yeah. And all these games, though, were played
Earlier.
before the second half of the season started. December 28th, they had a 27th and 28th home and home. Devils won 4-2, then they lost 5-2.
And Natchez is gone.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Natchez is gone.
Sam Wu
so
blames
is,
him for his acting job as the culprit for the Devils season.
Somehow. I think the Devils have played
So
under
it's
500 since then.
They have been. They are an under 500 team in this second half of the season. They're like 18-21 and something. I can't remember what they are. It's something like that.
I wish for one time, like it's a crazy pipe dream. Imagine if well, actually, let me rephrase this. Imagine if you could put yourself in front of the team. If you had 30 seconds to motivate the team, what would you say?
Oh, you mean Sam Wu's season ticket, perk? Coach the team for the day? That's what Sam Wu wants. Yeah. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're demoted to the AHL. You're going back to the AHL.
$6 million man. It's the playoffs. Released. Get in and acting. Hey, pretty
You're
boy.
On waivers. You're on waivers.
Yeah.
You're on waivers.
What happened to this team? I don't know.
Season ticket perk.
But Brady Kachuk is here, so that's all I care
that
about.
Would be. That would.
Just me and Brady Kachuk having beers in the corner. Hey, boys!
That
Max
would
says
be the first and last time any fan would be allowed to coach the team.
Max says Palat is $600,000 per goal, basically. $600K per goal in the year.
Cotter, I wonder if he's going to miss the remainder of the regular season.
That's what I meant to look at.
I don't think so.
He got a match.
I don't think
he got a match. But he was weird because he kind of listen. I'm not defending him because he definitely led into his shoulder, like right into the dude's head, and but at the same time he kind of was like flinching away like that. I don't know.
When you look at, you said you were at the game, so Biz broke it down pretty good on the intermission, and when you look at the other angle, the other side of it, you can see he's actually tucking his arm in, and he's leaning on his other skate. He's not leaning into Pelech on his left skate. He's actually leaning on his right to try and avoid him. And the elbow comes out after they make contact. And Pelech was also in his
leaning head first.
He was leaning, after he was completing his play of the puck there. And he was kind of leaning in. It just really looked like one of those unfortunate bad timing incidents. And Paul Cotter doesn't really have a history of suspensions and everything like that. So I think it was, I told Sam this earlier, I think it might have been the refs trying to control the game a little bit more because, if Cotter stays in there, then Martin's probably going to go after him, and things like that. It's going to break down into, it's going to break down into all hell, and then you may have some guys getting injured, in these scrums or something like that. But I don't know. If he does, I would be surprised. But it didn't seem like it was malicious intent on Paul Cotter's part. And Biz broke it that you could see, he was puck focused. His head is down looking at the puck the entire time. It really does. When you look at the other angle, because they got those 360 views that they could do there during the intermissions. You can really see that he is just looking straight at the puck, and he does not see Pelech until the last possible second, and then he immediately leans to the right skate away from him, not left skate and into him. He puts all of his weight on the right skate and try. And Sam was saying, sometimes it's better just to hit the person as well, because when you try to do those avoidings, you may tweak
that's when
your
you
knee.
usually get those. That's usually when you get those knee to knees.
Yeah, it's
so they kind of lucked out. He took a shot in the nose, but I think he'll be okay. Probably has a broken nose, but in the long run he'll be okay.
He's just a drama queen.
Which one? Who?
The victim.
Who, Cotter?
No.
Oh, Pelech. I was gonna say.
Listen, I don't want to speak negatively about players, but how could you miss his nose? If you're Paul Cotter.
Adam the Pelican Pelech? What are you talking about? That beak. Oh my god.
It almost looks like, because I was my vantage point was I was being shielded by Pellick, so I couldn't really see, and they only showed it like once on the big screen. But it almost looks like he's just trying to. He knows that the hit's going to come, and he's kind of standing upright and just trying to like brush him off in a sense. Like I don't think he's going for. I mean, if he goes down
he's
like
not
this
going for
and
the knockout.
lunges,
He's not
up,
going for the murder hit.
exactly. Like he tries to stand.
It was the fall through
upright.
of his
He's-
shot, basically.
He's, and Pellick is down already, and it almost seems like, Paul Cotter is trying to stand upright. Like if Paul Cotter really wanted to, he could have crushed Pellick in that situation.
Oh yeah.
He could have Scott Stevens.
Back in the
him.
day, that
Oh,
dude would have been
like,
murdered.
Could you imagine Scott Stevens coming across the ice on Pellick like that? Like, forget it. Like Pellick would be out for weeks, and Scott Stevens would be, celebrated on that. But I don't. It like match penalty. Yeah, they gave him because there's head contact. I don't know if there's going to be any. And again, if they suspend him for the next 2 games, like, what does it matter? Like, really, what does it matter?
He loses salary.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, I see LeChance has signed his entry level, and I know a bunch of people have been talking about it. Max has been talking about it. A bunch of people have been just kind of like bringing it up into the chat there over on the YouTube. Which, by the way, thank you guys for listening. As always, we love you guys out there on the YouTube channel and the Facebook and the Twitter and the everything else. It's I don't know what that means. There's a lot of times where they call these guys up like right at the end, or they send these entry levels. But there's one name in particular that I'm really curious about that I haven't seen anything about, and that is one Mr. Grzyuk. And
Not this.
I am.
No, he's gonna sign, but it won't be till after the playoffs.
You think that there's no way in hell that he's coming to this team for the playoffs is what my question.
Are you really going to throw a rookie who's never played in the NHL before on the team, like in the playoffs? I don't think that's going to happen. Unless there's a bunch of injuries and they have no other option. But I can't see them throwing someone who has never played with this team before in for the playoffs. That's a little different than like Dougie Hamilton coming back. But
no, I know. I'm just curious to see like what their plans are. I mean, obviously you could still throw him in the A and just let him get his beak wet down there too. But
I think they're already done down there.
Are they already done? I thought they. I don't know.
I don't think they made the playoffs.
Son of a bitch!
But
They weren't. Yeah.
But he is
back to anger.
Supposed to sign. He's supposed to sign, and so is that. I think that Finnish kid too. Damn, I can't remember his name now. Something with an H.
Lenny,
right?
Lenny,
something like that. Yeah.
Homa, not going to work here anymore.
Whatever. Yeah, both of them are supposed to be, very soon signing their entry level. I don't know. Maybe we will see LeChance in there. I wouldn't mind him. Man, watching some of those BU games, that's what we're missing. There's a lot of grit, a lot of physicality there with him. I said on Devils After Dark,
doesn't that go against what you just said? That's a kid going in from college into the NHL, into the playoffs
for these last 2 games. For these last 2 games, sure.
2 games.
Yeah, for the last 2 games, sure. Go ahead. But
what does that do to his entry level, though?
I don't think anything.
That I'm not 100% sure on. I'm not 100% sure, but that dude, like watching those BU games, like that guy is a leader. He may not score all the goals or anything, but he is protecting that goal. It's another one of our investments right there. Yegorov there. LeChance was the first one up to him, after they lost that game yesterday to Western Michigan. Congratulations to Western Michigan.
Yep.
But that dude is just clearing the crease, knocking people left and right. Like, he is a big kid. Watching some of that college hockey is a lot of fun, man, because
I love it.
There's a lot of
I've
physicalness
so
in
into
it,
that
but
this year.
it's it's not like, oh, we need to fight now, because there is no fighting in college. So a lot of these guys, they get hit and they just get back up and right back into the play, But LeChance, man, I mean, he was clearing house on a lot of stuff, and hell yeah. I don't know if he's going to be a top 6, but whew, could he bring some physicality, much needed physicality to this team? Because when this team plays physical, they get emotional and they start hustling and playing harder. And when they don't, they kind of coast and sleepwalk. So I'm all for the more physical play coming to this team.
Hell yeah.
Maybe before I know we're going to close out soon, but just kind of looking at Gritsuk. Let's say he did get here. The only advantage if he were to fit, and again, the coaching staff would figure this out in practice. The guys, I guess, a kid, whatever you want to call him, he's 24 years old. He's already played 216 games at the professional level in the KHL, which I know is not the NHL. I get that, but you're still playing. He's played over 200 games at the professional level. At a decent pace over there in Russia.
The KHL.
You know what my prediction is?
But Max brought up a good point. I'm so sorry, Sam, to cut you off, but Max brought up a good point. He said, I think Gritsuk's deal would be up if he played this year. That's why they want to wait until next year. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it makes sense. And Steven Engel put that at 24. It's 1 year. Okay, so it makes a ton of sense to not even have him in.
Yeah. But next year, that's definitely someone we can look forward to next year, 100%.
Let's put it, if we have to use him, that means we're screwed at the right wing position.
And at that point, why use him? Because if we're that screwed, then just sail the ship into the night and go into the next season.
Yes, Sam.
And that's when we come to just acceptance.
I'm gonna make a prediction.
Sam has raised his hand.
I'm going to make a prediction since I'm good at predictions recently. This guy's going to be a bust like Gusev, so don't even worry about it.
Golly. Here comes Captain Positivity from the top rope. I'm just kidding. It's Mr. Negativity right through the middle of the ring.
I'm just trying to be realistic.
You're
going to be disappointed.
You're
going to be like, go back to the KHL.
Like
No, I like Sergei Brelin. That's about it.
Adios mio, my friend.
All right, final thoughts.
My final thought is I want to take some of the positivity that I was spewing out this earlier when I finally got on and just inject that into Sam's veins. Imagine if Sam was overly positive. Like, what would happen? This world would explode. I'm kidding, Sam, of course. The last couple games, let's go into the playoffs. Let's play hard, play right. But getting into the playoffs is the most important part of this. Anything can happen when you get into the show. I hope that this team shows heart, shows grit, goes out there and does what they have to do against Carolina. Carolina is a very tough team. We'll get into the whole breakdown, I'm sure, like right before the playoffs begin. But I will say that, as a fan watching this team all season long, the ups and downs. I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do, and I'm just pumped for playoff hockey. It's the greatest time all year round. The weather's getting warm. Other people other than shorts guys start wearing shorts. It's fantastic. The hits are harder. a bunch of bastards. The hits are harder. The fights are faster. It's one of the greatest games you could ever watch. So just excited for the playoffs to get underway. Anybody else want to take it, or are we going to listen to the waterfall?
I'll say my final thought is that hopefully this goaltending, really does make a difference. It's something we've talked about all year with this team, and we've said for a long time that it is the missing link that they need. So my big thing is looking at the goaltending going into the playoffs, the tandem of Markstrom and Allen. can they make the difference on this team that we know they can do some other things, but they've always struggled in goaltending the past number of years. Will they be the X factor going into or during this playoff run?
So, my final thought is today was boring as all get out at the game. I'm still waking up, but just get through these just get through these last 2 games injury free, and then bring it. Just bring it in the playoffs. You know what? That's what we need. And Jacob Markstrom, this is his chance to really prove that he's a winner in this league and to take this team to go from round 1 to round 4, get 16 wins and get us the cup. I've heard some people say, "Oh, it would suck to win it without Jack." I don't care if we win it with Jack or without Jack. I just want to win this damn Stanley Cup. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. His name will go on the trophy. He'll go out there with a bum shoulder and still lift that 40-pound piece of silver, and I'll still celebrate all of it. But just get through these last 2 games injury-free, and then the second season starts, and that's really where it all really matters.
Sam, besides your tranquil background, do you want to add anything?
Trying to get my
the
camera feed
haircut.
back up. Trying to get my camera feed back up.
Oh, I see
Frozen-
that. I see that. You're frozen.
You're frozen on a picture that looks like you went to the mall and got one of those glamour shots.
where they make ugly people look decent.
Where denim is a choice. It's not a choice. It's a desire.
Yeah. So anyway, my camera's frozen. Don't know why.
All right, your grandma's frozen. That's weird.
All right.
Yeah.
My final thoughts. We'll know a lot about this team 2 weeks from now. What they're made of.
Yeah.
And that's all. That's all I have to say. That's it.
You're right.
All right.
That's tranquility.
All
right.
right.
Tranquility.
Philosophical woo.
Yeah.
It's the haircut. It's the haircut.
I've been to the future. I've seen the things. You will find out.
Hey, I
Been to
hit
the
all
future.
my predictions.
Have you seen this haircut?
Yeah.
It is a damn good haircut. I have to tell you that.
It really is. Just wait till you guys see it in
It
person.
really is.
Just wait till you see it in person.
I'll have to get Connie on this podcast. She does my hair. Connie's
Thanks,
Barbershop.
Connie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Connie's
Connie.
Barbershop in Peapack, New Jersey. Anyway. All right, we're going to get out of here.
From the frozen tundra of the bunker.
Yes. Till next time, let's go Devils.